You walk into a room and within a fraction of a second, before you have said a word, before anyone has introduced themselves, before you have consciously registered a single face, your brain has already ranked everyone in it, not alphabetically, not by name or job title, by something far older and far more automatic than any of that. It has sorted them by power and by warmth, and it has done this so fast that by the time you become aware of the room, the rankings are already done. This is not a figure of speech. This is one of the most replicated findings in all of social psychology, and it explains more about how you treat people, who you trust, who you fear, who you dismiss, and who you instinctively defer to than almost any other single mechanism in the human brain. It happens in zero point 0.1 seconds, and you almost never know it is happening. Psychologists Amy Cuddy, Susan Fiske, and Peter Glick spent years studying what they called the stereotype content model, and what they found rewired how scientists think about first impressions. When humans encounter a new person, the brain does not ask a long list of questions. It asks exactly two. Is this person a friend or an enemy? And is this person capable of acting on that intention? In other words, warmth and competence. That is the entire initial evaluation. Two axes. Every person you have ever met has been silently plotted on them before you shook their hand. Here is why those two questions and not some other set. Your ancestors lived in a world of constant social negotiation. Other humans were simultaneously the most valuable resource available, potential allies, mates, teachers, protectors, and the most dangerous threat, rivals, cheats, aggressors. Getting the read right on another person was not a social nicety, it was a survival calculation. The fastest way to make that calculation was not to learn everything about someone. It was to determine two things immediately. Do they mean me well or ill? And can they do anything about it either way? A person who is warm but incompetent is a friend who cannot help you. A person who is competent but cold is the most dangerous combination in your environment. A person who is both warm and competent is the rarest and most valuable ally imaginable, and a person who is neither is simply not relevant. Your brain learned to sort everyone into one of these four quadrants in a fraction of a second because that sorting, repeated millions of times across thousands of generations, was the difference between thriving and not surviving long enough to matter. And here is the part that should unsettle you slightly. The sorting does not wait for information. It does not wait for evidence. It begins with face shape, with posture, with the speed of movement, with vocal pitch, with eye contact, with the direction someone faces when they enter a space. Researchers have found that people form reliable competence and warmth impressions from faces in as little as 100 milliseconds, faster than the blink of an eye, faster than a camera shutter, faster than your own awareness of having looked. Princeton psychologist Alexander Todorov spent years running studies where participants viewed faces for fractions of a second and then rated them on traits like trustworthiness, dominance, and likability. The ratings were remarkably consistent across participants and remarkably predictive of real-world outcomes. Candidates whose faces were rated higher on competence in 100-millisecond exposures won their elections at above-chance rates. Not always, but far above chance. The face, processed faster than thought, was carrying information your brain treated as meaningful. Now, here is what makes this stranger. The information is often wrong. The correlation between what a face looks like and what a person actually is, their real warmth, their real competence, their real intentions, is weak at best and in many cases close to zero. Your brain knows this, or rather your rational mind knows this. But the subcortical systems doing the sorting do not care. They were built for a world where you had limited time and no options. They sort first. They ask questions later or never. This produces a specific kind of invisible architecture in every social environment you enter. Some people are trusted before they speak. Some are doubted before they have said anything wrong. Some are seen as leaders before they have led anything. Some are overlooked before they have had a chance to demonstrate anything. And almost none of this is based on anything those people actually did. It is based on outputs of a ranking system that was built for a different world and has not been updated since. Psychologist Nicholas Rule has studied what he calls thin-slice judgments, ultra-brief exposures to people that still produce accurate or at least consistent social evaluations. In one study, participants who viewed photographs of chief executives for just 1 second judged those individuals on competence, dominance, and facial maturity. Their judgments matched actual company performance metrics at rates significantly above chance. The implication is quietly alarming. The face that happens to fit a culturally absorbed template of competence, whatever your particular culture has learned to associate with leadership, with authority, with trustworthiness, gets a head start in every room it enters, not because of anything it has done, because of the angle of a jaw, the set of a brow, the placement of a chin. And the brain doing the ranking is not just ranking other people, it is ranking you. Every room you walk into, other brains are running this same 0.1 second evaluation on your face, your posture, your gait. They are assigning you warmth and competence scores before you open your mouth. They are slotting you into a quadrant before you have done anything to deserve or contradict it. This is happening right now every time you encounter another person in both directions simultaneously, with zero conscious input from either party, at a speed that makes deliberate intervention almost impossible. But here is what the research also shows. The initial ranking is not final, it is a prior, a Bayesian starting point that gets updated as more information comes in. The warmth assessment updates faster and more dramatically than the competence assessment. A single warm act, a moment of genuine attentiveness, a piece of unexpected generosity, can shift a warmth ranking significantly. Competence updates more slowly, requiring repeated evidence over time. This means the most powerful thing you can do when you walk into a room is not to try to look competent. Competence updates slowly. It is to signal genuine warmth immediately, because warmth updates fast, and warmth is the dimension the brain weights most heavily when deciding whether someone is safe. Amy Cuddy's research found that when warmth and competence conflict, warmth wins. People would rather work with someone likable and less competent than someone highly competent but cold. The warmth signal is evolutionarily older, more automatic, and more heavily weighted precisely because it answers the most fundamental question: do they mean me well? And the most effective warmth signal, the one that updates rankings faster than almost anything else, is sustained, genuine eye contact paired with attention. Not performance, not effort. Attention. The oldest social signal there is. Your brain sorted everyone in that room before you knew you were looking. But what it sorted them into is not permanent. It is a starting position. And you, walking in, already ranked, already sorting, have more power to update those rankings than the ancient system that generated them would ever have you believe. The hierarchy is invisible, but it is not unchangeable. And now that you know it is there, you are already ahead of everyone in the room who does not.